Yo ho.
Did you just call me a hoe?
No, I said yo ho. It's hump day. If you decide to walk a
Yes, it
mile in a
is.
camel's shoes to celebrate this day, keep a sharp lookout for camel deposits in the sand. That's the word of advice today.
You know, I don't
Wednesday,
need to hear that this morning.
Wednesday, the 4th of June, with D-Day only a couple of days away, makes me wonder what kinds of surprises our terrorist enemies have in mind for us. For me, and I do this, does anybody else do this? For every momentous occasion, like Super Bowl, started at the beginning of the year, New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, Super Bowl, Valentine's Day, Memorial Day, D-Day, Flag Days in 2 weeks. It's on the 14th.
That's right.
4th of July, Independence Day. Then we got Labor Day, probably nothing then, but possibly because it's close to September 11, 9/11. Maybe they just changed the date a little bit. And then through the rest of the year, the momentous occasions we have. Don't forget the baseball World Series. You know, then we got Veterans Day. Then we got the end of the hurricane
Let me
season.
see. This is June 4th of July. August is quiet. September, Labor Day, and then starts all your holidays for a couple months, for about 3-4 months.
Well, yeah, we got all that stuff going on. But anyway, on the historical calendar today, several significant events have occurred throughout history. The Chinese oppressive government flexed its communist muscle with a crackdown on pro-democracy activists in Tiananmen Square on this date in 1989.
Well, okay.
Wow, remember that? What was the one picture that you remember from that day? One image that you can't get out of your mind from that period of time? How about the young man who didn't want to kowtow to the communists, and he stood in front of a tank and would not move, daring the tank to run him down in the public's eye, like they were doing everywhere else, but not quite in front of so many people.
It's hard to say.
And they didn't do it.
We see that in the streets now.
Yeah. Additionally, the Battle of Midway, a major turning point in the Pacific theater of World War II, began on this date in 1942, 7 months after the U.S. was dragged into that war. Other events include the liberation of Rome by Allied troops in 1944 on this date, and the successful test run of Henry Ford's first horseless carriage in 1896. What did they call the first horseless carriage that Mr. Ford came out with?
First Ford, I can't. You can just go ahead and give it to the next person there, Alex.
The Ford quadricycle.
Well, I would have never.
I never would have either.
Did I tell you?
I never even heard of that.
We got talking about the name Ford, and I told you my mother is a Ford, and she's from that Ford family.
Oh, really?
But
what kind of car do you drive?
150 removed or whatever. No, I mean, but she is related through, to the great late Henry Ford. And yes, I drive a GMC.
That figures.
I like Fords though.
What was really funny is there was a Chevrolet dealer down in, is it Charlotte? Going south on 17 outside of the county seat there. I can't remember what the name of that is right now. But anyway, going south down that direction, there's a Chevrolet dealer there owned by the Ford brothers. It says Ford Brothers Chevrolet.
Well,
I just always thought it was funny.
How ironic is that? That's one of those cute that makes you stop and look a second time.
I did.
Like, is that real or is that pun? No, that's his real name.
It was a fact, Jack. It was a fact.
That is
Ford
curious.
Brothers Fords. That would have been cool, but Ford Brothers Chevrolet was just really, it was there.
Well, what did the Wright brothers call their first plane?
Bossy, I think.
Really?
Hmm. No, I have no clue.
Well, you're asking me what the Ford first. I'm like,
Well, sometime in December when we get around to the Wright brothers and their airplane doing their thing, maybe I will look it up at that time.
okay. We'll do a fact.
Remind me.
A fact check on all that.
Jacksonville police are working to confirm the identity of a body found off Gum Branch Road.
Scary.
The remains were discovered in the woods near Onsville Drive. It's early in the investigation, but detectives say the condition of the remains make immediate identification as well as the cause of death kind of difficult. A team from the North Carolina Medical Examiner's Office is assisting the Jacksonville detectives. They came here from the ME's office, state ME's office.
It's like the third one off a Gum Branch this year.
Yeah, well,
it's crazy.
I recall getting and reading and hearing a number of missing person reports during the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot recall the outcome of most of those cases. Some were reported safe, and others just don't remember if anything ever came of it.
There's the gentleman that went missing from the Belfork area that had some cognitive issues.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those.
And
I don't know whether they ever found him or not.
No, they have not.
I know we kept doing updates on
yes,
it.
Yes, we did.
We haven't seen anything lately.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in any city across this country, there will be missing reports of people who just drop out. Many of them never turning up again. In other cases, those who disappear may return, may come home sooner or later, but whoever reported them missing they just don't follow up with police and tell them. So they're still listed on some missing persons report somewhere, and Crazy Uncle Joe came home, a few years or a year or two later, and we didn't think about notifying the police of it. It's not illegal for an adult to drop out.
Right.
You don't have to report in.
No.
No, okay. Unless there's a danger posed to themselves, police have little recourse in trying to find them or even locating them without the legal ability to do anything else if it's voluntary.
Sure.
Hey, Lee, you are there. Everybody's looking for you. I don't care.
I was in the mountains.
No, you just, I don't care. That's none of their business.
Right.
And it's none of yours either, officer. And you say, good day, Ms. Barrows. And that's about all they can do. Under those conditions, they can at least take it off the books. But just think, if nobody ever took it off the books, it would still be there.
True.
Forever and ever and ever and ever.
True.
And a lot of times that's tough for cops. And a lot of times when detectives are thinking, let me look at this missing persons report. Let me do a cold case here. Not many of those, unless there seems to be something kind of suspicious about it.
Right.
Occasionally they may circulate or whatever. And with DNA, which is not new anymore, but sometimes they will supply some DNA to add to the missing persons report from years and years ago before DNA was collected.
Well, you'll remember the story better than myself, but the one of the woman that they found here in Onslow County deceased and still have no clue on her identity. When you go into the sheriff's office and go into the crimes lab, they've got a head that they have fixed. Recreated
not a head.
No, not it's a recreation of a head and facial features to resemble her and
what they think would resemble her today.
Yes, right. So it does. Now that's the third body that has been found over period of time here.
None of the others were.
No, they were all natural causes where they went missing, and all had. Well, I don't know the one that was found by the new gym. Did they ever determine that?
Clue.
That's been 3 months ago. So
don't know.
Yeah.
Question for you. Any idea, since you're a woman, you should know this. Any idea who the first female mayor elected in the United States was?
No. No clue.
Susanna Salter.
Salty.
Salter was elected mayor of Argonia.
What?
Yeah.
In the United States?
Arkansas.
Okay.
Her election was a surprise because her name had been placed on a slate of candidates as a stunt by a group of men hoping to secure a loss, assuming that would secure a loss that would humiliate women and discourage them from participating in politics. This is in the late 1800s. Candidates did not have to be made public before election day.
Really?
They could be running, and the first time you know about it is when you show up at the polls, unless they go out there stumping and tell you.
That could end up being extremely interesting.
Salter herself did not know she was on the ballot before the polls opened that fateful day. When, on election day itself, she agreed to accept office if elected, the Women's Christian Temperance Union abandoned its own preferred candidate and voted for Salter en masse. Additionally, the local Republican Party chair sent a delegation to her home and confirmed that she would serve, and the Republicans agreed to vote for her. Men all over the place were voting for her, helping to secure her election by a 2/3 majority. Salter did have a leg up prior to holding the office of mayor. Her father was the first ever mayor of that town, and her father-in-law served as lieutenant governor of Kansas. Although her term was uneventful, like so many others, her election generated national interest from the press, sparking a debate regarding the feasibility of other towns following Argonia's lead, which ranged from objections to petticoat roll to a wait-and-see attitude. One of the first city council meetings over which the newly elected Mayor Salter presided was attended by a correspondent of the New York Sun. Came all the way there from New York. He wrote his story describing the mayor's dress and hat and pointing out that she presided with great decorum. He noted that several times she checked the irrelevant discussions, demonstrating that she was a good parliamentarian. She held him in check. No more BS. Where is she today?
Your words this morning are killing me.
Other publicity extended to newspapers as far away as Sweden and South Africa. As compensation for her 1 year of service, she got paid all at one time. $1.
I was just going to say.
That's equivalent to $35 today.
Oh, wow.
She was paid $1
That's
for the whole year, for the entire year, all at one time. At least it didn't break it down into pennies or anything.
True.
After a year in office, she declined to seek re-election. Her father was the first ever mayor of the town, and her father-in-law, as I said, was first lieutenant governor of, or served as lieutenant governor of Kansas. Although her term was uneventful, got a lot of interest around the world. That's pretty cool.
Wow. Now, what would you do if you woke up on the first Wednesday of November and got a phone call that says, guess what? You're the new mayor.
Y'all are fired.
Are you going to clean house? Are you going to clean the
Oh, yeah, I'd be cleaning house.
Cleaning house.
If the people elected me, they would certainly want me to do something like that. This way I would look at it.
Well, just throwing it out there, but this weekend is the state Republican convention.
Oh, goody. Can I
where
go?
they vote on keeping the current staff or voting in new.
Can I go? Can I vote?
Look, there's been so much drama already. This whole weekend coming up, of course, I'm not going.
Do they ask for ID?
Is going to be, yes. Well, you've had to pre-registered, but it's going to be. I'll be having to take my Bubba cup with me because I'm telling you, that's
coming up at 7:30. We're going to have Dr. Rosemary Stein calling in, checking in from afar, and we're going to find out how things are in the medical world.
Yes.
And then we're going to have the monthly visit by our one and only Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright.
Ladies, Mr. Wright is in the house this morning, about 7:45 or so.
Right.
So we'll be right on. And then I wonder if you wrote in his name. I'm going to write in Wright for mayor. Oh, okay.
We need a little bit more information on Mr. Wright. I want to just take a few minutes today and ask him about what possessed him. And I don't mean that in a negative way. What made him want to come to the United States?
England.
Well,
we did the same thing. Our forefathers did.
Well, there's people in England that came from the United States, but I'd like
Those
to.
are the ones we ejected.
Because he's such a great
Deported
guy.
them.
And I just we love having him in here. Love his accent. I'm just curious.
You ever heard of the Buc-ee's gas station?
Oh, I love Buc-ee's.
You do?
I love Buc-ee's.
Headquartered in Texas, the chain features a cartoon drawing of a beaver from the neck at the top of its head.
Yes. Oh Lord.
Which is sporting a ball cap.
Right.
Right up there, right?
Love Buc-ee's. My first one.
Got the little bill turned upwards.
My first Buc-ee's was in Texas.
Nothing really special, right? Well, the gas station Buc-ee's is suing a North Charleston company, a sporting goods company, for trademark infringement. The Charleston group uses a beaver wearing a military vest and carrying a rifle. On its head is a military-style hat.
Uh-oh.
The face looks extremely familiar, very similar, hardly a generic look of the animal critter. It's a drawing, it's a cartoon, okay? I mean, that's what it was designed for, and it was designed for the Buc-ee's chain.
Right.
Well, you put those two images side by side, and except for the ball cap that Buc-ee's gas guy is wearing, or the hat and the military shirt, garb, whatever, and I think it might be a vest, and carrying a gun, they're identical, because I did it last night. I laid them up there, and my God, you could overlay them.
Are you kidding me?
Remove the clothing and the accessories of both beavers, and I'm pretty sure most would think that Buc-ee's beaver looks exactly like the Born United Clothing Company's beaver. And that's the basis for the suit.
Wow.
In its defense, Born United sells clothing and other merchandise bearing patriotic themes. It operates under the slogan, bringing brands together that stand for freedom. The lawsuit alleges Born United continued selling the products even after Buc-ee's sent a cease and desist letter demanding what Buc-ee's calls willful infringement and bad faith conduct. Born United folks say they're willing to sit down and talk. They want to talk it over to keep the suit from putting them both in court. To end this battle of the beavers without going to court. What next? The great horned owls of America going to sue Hooters? You just never know these days, do you?
It's the battle of the beavers.
Want to go offshore fishing? In reality, we once lied to ourselves, claiming that the fish in the ocean were free, meaning we didn't have to go to those fish houses for tonight's food. Truth was, it was a lot cheaper to buy the fish. Given the price of fish these days, makes me think again. Okay, so it's really still cheaper. But if you consider the fun, add in what I consider to be the best part, the fish I drag to the boat is absolutely fresh. I do not have to get a second opinion. I don't have to examine them. When I pull them in, they are about as fresh as you can get. Definitely much fresher than the store-bought seafood. Of course, you have to make sure that you treat your catch properly. Keep it on ice. Not in a bucket full of fish slop and a little bit of ice. You fillet them, you bag them, then you put them on ice in the boat, in a cooler, and they'll be ready to go when you get home. But to the offshore forecast today. Out to 20 nautical, that was a little tip for you guys. And if you really insist on putting the whole fish in there without dressing it out first, put a little salt water in that cooler. Just throwing them on hard ice is going to freeze. You're going to have some freezer burns and stuff on that fish. It's not going to be really good. Put some ice water, a salt ice water in your cooler with the ice, and those fish will be good when you get ready to fillet them.
Before you go there, I just want to, as a woman to men, speaking for other women, you go fishing, do not bring home the fish with the head still on them.
I don't.
I mean, because I want to know that you actually got those out of the water.
Oh, good God. Really? You can buy fish with the heads on them at the fish market?
I know, but you need
Is that what you're talking about? You don't believe them?
Well, there has been instances, like, oh, I went fishing and brought home a cooler of fish, and where'd you get those fish? I'm not saying me, but I'm just saying that's a tip to all men from we women.
For you neophytes out there, for you brand new fishermen in this area, you anglers around here, okay, if your wife likes salmon like mine does,
Yes.
don't go fishing and come back with some salmon in your cooler. Even she's going to catch you in the lie, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Duh. If it's wrapped up in a package,
that's even worse. That's even worse.
Out to 20 nautical miles, you'll find southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots today. How did we get there? Seas 2 to 3 feet, 7 seconds apart, sounds and rivers of moderate chop. Tomorrow, southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 with gusts to 25 in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5, sounds and rivers of moderate chop, increasing to choppy in the afternoon. Showers likely with a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. So Friday, southwesterly winds around 10 knots, becoming westerly in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5 feet, sounds and rivers of light chop.
Today, partly sunny with a high near 83. Light east wind becoming southeast 5 to 10 miles per hour in the morning. Winds could gust as high as 15 miles per hour. Tonight, a chance of showers mainly after 3 a.m., clouded with a low around 68. Thursday, an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high near 77.
About 2 hours ago here at the studio, it was 56 degrees outside. Now it's 59.
Nice.
And at the airport, it's about 61 right now. Checking in with my, I've got another thing I'm going to call them. We're going to call them the live and local weather spotters.
Yep.
They get on the Ham Network every morning.
Done.
They get on the Ham Network every morning, and they talk about the temperatures. One is in the southwest area. At his area this morning, it was 58 when it was 57. No, 57 here, 58 there. And down the street over Northwoods area, it was, I think, 61. And it's Swansboro, good old Joe down in Swansboro. He was saying it was 64 degrees. It's a little bit warmer near the beach, near the ocean. Okay. So you're getting close to getting your ticket?
Yes, I'm getting close to it. I will tell you, it's a very complex training course that I'm going through, but it's so interesting.
Which one are you getting?
I'll have
you
to.
Talking about the ham ticket, or you talking
No,
about
I'm
the weather
talking
spotter?
about the weather spotter.
You should have been studying for the ham ticket.
I know, but I'm going to get the weather spotter out of my way because I've got the big weather station at home and everything. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get that out of the way and then finish up the.
You have to just read the instructions on the weather station.
What?
And it'll tell you what to do.
On the course?
No. Forget the course. Just look at the weather station.
Yeah, but I don't want to be a bona fide licensed weather spotter.
Also today, weather-related, Donnie Cox, the meteorologist, chief meteorologist over WCTI in New Bern, covers this area. He's going to be beginning about 11 this morning, setting up, may get there a little bit early, setting up he and the team, and a bunch of ham radio guys from the Oslo Amateur Radio Club. They're going to be there. If you go there and say hi to Randy, just say, "Hey, Randy, what's up?"
Yeah.
Lee's going to be there, maybe for a little bit.
I'm coming.
Not you, another Lee.
Oh.
Yeah, the Lee without the male Lee.
I just feel slighted now.
Well, you could go too, but you're not going to be programming radio. So
no, but
now when you get your ham license, you could go along next year. This will be the last one. It's going to happen in Richlands this morning.
Oh, Richlands!
You can buy a radio there if you don't have one. If you've got one, and maybe it's drop programming, maybe it's picking up way too much stuff, more than you want, you can go have it isolated to your county, or maybe your county and the adjacent county, or something like that. Just stop by there. They do it for free. You can't get a radio for free, but they will program it for you for free. Donnie Cox from CTI will be there leading that charge. And he'll be there throughout much of the afternoon, I think, today. It's the last one of the season, last one this year. Okay.
Went last year and met Donnie.
It's great. It's wonderful to have
Yes.
one on board these radios. There's a one here. There's a one up yonder, and they
Mine
go off in
works
the middle
well.
of the night when things are happening, and you need to know.
It'll knock you right off the bed.
Because your phone may or may not work. So
that's true. That's true. And I was just telling you about 2-3 weeks ago when we were having that little series, the thunderstorms coming through. And I was checking my weather radio. I thought it's been awful quiet. And the frequency for this area was offline because they were updated and working on it. So but I was like, why is my weather radio not going? But look, it was just a couple of days ago that thing went off and I just threw my glass across the living room. That's what you need. You need to have that.
Okay, that disturbance number 1, they're calling it. It's not tropical in nature, not yet. Anyway, it's a non-tropical low pressure area. It's forecast to form from this system that runs from middle coastal North Carolina down to the northern, all along the coast of South Carolina and Georgia, and down to the upper. Now it's moved up into the northern part of Florida, all on the coast. There's nothing going on there. It's just an area of disturbance. A non-tropical low pressure system is forecast to form from this system during the next couple days. If the low spends some time offshore, it could gradually develop some subtropical or tropical characteristics later in the week, while periods of heavy rainfall are possible for coastal portions of the Carolinas through Friday. Okay, that's part of what's going on. The chance of it actually forming up into anything between now and a week from now, only 10%. If it gets offshore and stalls and plays out there for a week, we don't know. All bets are off. Anyway, that's what you're going to find.
And starting this weekend, the Big Rock, and I was just reading where they said that they felt like the waters are going to be a little rough, but they felt like it was going to be a good start. And I think this weekend is the women's start this weekend.
Yeah,
the KWLA, like Kelly Wagner.
Kelly Wagner, yes. She passed away some years ago.
Breast cancer.
She was a major movement within the tournament. And they catch a lot of fish. They don't catch as many as they used to because they cut them loose, and they get points for cutting them loose. Exactly. They know they got a small fish and it's not going to weigh in and worth the crap. So they cut it loose. If it doesn't weigh 400 pounds, you don't get anything for it anyway at the dock.
Right.
So if it's going to be a small one, you can get points for cutting him loose. Absolutely. If he weighs 12 pounds,
as Michael Jordan.
You make points that way, and you save the fish and let them grow up to be big ones.
Right.
So we'll say, and all of you who want to participate, your first thing is to do is check your wallet for 2 things. 1, money. 2, license to fish in North Carolina. It's got to be valid. If it's about to expire, go ahead and renew it. Got it? Get it renewed. Because that fish, for anybody aboard that boat.
That's right.
There's fishing out there. You can have 83 Haitians on board that boat. And if one of them does not have a fishing license and you catch a 1,200-pound marlin, it is
disqualified.
That's it.
And that did happen, about 5-6 years ago, something like that.
They fought that thing out in the courts. I don't know how it ended up.
I know it. And then last year, the huge drama.
Rules is rules.
That's right. And I know sometimes rules can be hard, but it's just like, was it last year, that one boat that was disqualified? The marlin that they brought in was disqualified. It was 2 years ago because they said, when you catch one and you're bringing it up, you have to take your, what do they call that? The gaff or whatever. Stab it to bring it up, and it'll rip the marlin or whatever. Yep. But the injuries on this marlin were obviously from a shark bite. So, and that disqualified the fish, and they went to court and everything.
If it's a significant bite, all marlin are going to get bit. If you got one on the line, it's going to get bit. But when they start taking chunks out of it, and it really looks like it was killed by a shark, perhaps,
right,
or whatever. No, it doesn't count.
Well, I can understand the boat owner, the team, they're trying to do everything they can.
It's not their fault.
No. And a lot of time when they're reeling them in, they'll get hit by a
That's
shark.
usually when they will get
Yes, yes. So,
So that's why if I was going to be participating in this tournament or any
Right.
major tournament like that with major big old fish on board, coming on board, my buddy and I, the two of us, we'd be fishing it.
right.
He'd be reeling.
Oh,
We'd be an autopilot,
yes.
and I would be standing guard. Don't touch my fish.
Yeah.
You got it?
Well, I have a question for Dr. Rose when
Okay,
she
she'll be
calls
calling in
in.
about a minute.
So,
Colorado Democrats are facing criticism for leading a fundraiser with Representative Ilhan Omar less than an hour after this past Sunday's anti-Semitic terrorist attack in which 12 people were hurt, including a Holocaust survivor.
oh,
45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Solomon is facing federal hate crime charges and numerous state-level attempted murder charges for using incendiary devices to burn people who were rallying for the release of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza ever since the terrorist group attacked Israel on October 7th, 2023. Solomon was in the country illegally after overstaying his visa and work authorization. He was shouting, "Free Palestine," as he tossed the two firebombs into the crowd. The thug, accused of shooting and killing two Israelis in Washington last month, shouted the same thing, "Free Palestine," when he was arrested for their murders. After 30 minutes, about 30 minutes after the Boulder attacks in nearby Denver, there was a private reception with Omar, who has been a major critic of Israel, with many of other Democrats listed as the host. Ticket prices range from $500 to $7,000 to attend this party. Omar is a member of a progressive group of lawmakers in Congress called the Squad, call them the Squibs. These fundraisers, they still kind of tick me off, okay? Why do our elected officials, those elected from one state or another, if they were elected from North Carolina, same thing applies, selected by the residents of their states and districts, need to go to other states to raise campaign money? Okay, let me tell you why. As we are told time and again, the campaign money raised is what gets people elected. Every politician out there, every political backer out there says you got to raise some money. You got to have money. You got to have a lot of money. In my mind, the way I think, if you take money from people outside your state that you represent, you are in effect causing the voters in your state to vote for you. You are using outside influence to cause them to vote for you. Does anyone else see a problem with this? I know that big companies, big drug pharmas, for instance, major manufacturing companies of everything, corporate big bucks to congressmen and senators hoping to sway them into voting on legislation they want to see adopted. That's a gripe I have. But when John and Jane, good people from Denver, are giving money to get a twerp from Michigan elected, why is that not election interference? I ask you, would that not be election interference? This world called politics, this world politics, it gripes my butt sometimes.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Well, anyway, that's the way that I see it. And Dr. Rosemary Stein, the voice of reason this
Good
morning.
morning, Dr.
Doc.
Rose.
How are you?
Good morning. I am doing well. I hope you all are.
Doing great.
Doing
You know,
good.
this is something that really has got nothing to do with you, except that I know you're a political observer, astute political
Yes, she
observer.
is.
If you're a congresswoman in this case, not you, but if you were representing the great state of North Carolina, and they were going to throw you a party in Texas with a bunch of other fellow Democrats in this case, and they wanted to invite you to come down, so we're going to throw you a fundraiser, and we're going to sell $7,000 tickets to come to this party. Is that not election interference from outside the state?
That's a lot of things that isn't good.
It's just not right. Not my opinion. It's just not right.
Why
They do it all the time.
Why do you think Roy Cooper was going north all the time?
Yeah.
He was getting money.
Yep.
Oh,
You know, they just skirt the laws. It's all completely unethical, but not illegal.
yeah,
They make sure
that sucks.
that they run it by their folks all the time, and they look in the books and they say, well, it's not illegal, and so they don't care about ethics and what's right and
No,
wrong.
they don't.
So yeah, what you just described. I don't care if you're a D or an R. That's wrong in like 3 different places. That's just wrong.
I just don't like it. But they do it. It's done all the time. Big companies do it because they want our elected delegations, all 535 of them in the House and in the Senate. They want them to vote things that support their efforts at manufacturing. Maybe, let's cut through some of the red tape that we have to go through. We don't need the FDA looking at everything we do we? Huh? Do we really? Can I get some help from you in that?
Backroom deals.
That's it. So anyway, okay, I'm off of that one. Let's go to medicine and sickness
medicine.
and ailments and all that sort of good stuff. What's going on?
They're not sick very much right now. I mean, we're getting an occasional, yay, I know. We're getting occasional phone calls. As I had to direct one mom who let the kid be sick for so long that he couldn't sleep at night because of his terrible cough.
Oh boy!
It started maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks before he saw me. So I said, a stitch in time saves 9. If you take care of it early and try to see what you can do at home, giving him home medications and some good rest, your child will do a lot better. And instead, the kid had to miss a couple of days of his EOGs, and he had to be home for a day or 2 during sports practice. It's just you got to think ahead and call for a rest when there's got to be a rest, so that things don't blow up in your face. And it's a good thing to teach children, because if you procrastinate, they surely will procrastinate, and that's how they're going to live their life. And about the other thing that you were talking about the ethics problem, that's another thing. Our children's eyes are looking at us.
There you go.
Things like that will not go unnoticed by children. You want to raise little crooks, well, then go ahead and do that in your house and let them see you and have them choose that kind of life. On the other hand, if you choose the harder path and do what's right and abide by the golden rule and honesty and the 10 Commandments, your children will hopefully grow up that way too, and they will give you less heartache when you grow up.
Let's just do this role thing, okay? Just as a daddy, is it okay if I, we got a test coming up, and I got Bubba over here. He's a good friend of mine, and he said if I give him, a quarter or $1 or whatever, he'll give me the answers to the test that's coming up. Can you owe me $1? Well, Daddy, you won't do that. I've seen you do the same. Don't you give dollars and money to people that are, that we know, that everybody knows, that we see them on TV every night and they're scum of the earth, but you support them, right? What's the difference? Uh-oh.
That's right.
How does Daddy explain that one?
Explain yourself.
Well, or paying a few dollars for the answers on the written driver's test or whatever it is that people do. The kids are watching, and whether it has to do with, taking care of yourself and your job first, which, I mean, you've got to put food on the table. I understand that, but not to the detriment of the child's health. Or if you're getting purchased off or you're doing something dishonest in front of the kids, whatever path you choose, your children are watching, and that's going to influence the way that they choose things for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Well, for kids' sakes, you shouldn't hide things under the cover, but you really do need to make sure you're leading by example. You should, if you're a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, you should lead by example as well. But if you're a daddy or a mama, what you do and say, oh my goodness gracious, you should really think about it, because that goes against the health and welfare and the future well-being of your children if they want to follow your bad examples.
That's where consequences, actions have true consequences in your home.
Well, Dr. Rose, I came across an article and I was reading on it, and I wanted to ask you about, because I know that you don't just just doctor medically. You also give a lot of support to the family in a mental type atmosphere, and telling them, and helping them emotionally too. And I thought about you when I read this and wanted to ask you, this is in reference to glass child syndrome, and it's referring to children whose siblings are seriously ill or have chronic special needs, which require a lot of support from their parents, medical professionals, and others. And for that child, it's a feeling of being overlooked as parents focus their attention on the child undergoing a health crisis.
That's a great question.
And it says siblings, they may develop complicated feelings, resentment, jealousy, guilt, grief. Have you dealt with that with families that have a sick one, and what would you say to all that?
Absolutely, and that is a great question. Each child deserves their own time and their own relationship with their parents. And sometimes we sort of forget that, and we're like the dad in The Prodigal Son, where we focus on perhaps to an extent only on the one who's sick, whether it's a spiritual sick or a true sickness, and then we don't focus on the other one, and those feelings of resentment will grow. With the difference that in The Prodigal Son, that was a grown-up person. He had to deal with his feelings himself. In the case of a child, he's a child. It's hard to understand why he feels abandoned, and they start wanting to be sick. And sometimes it's hard to distinguish their wanting to be sick from true illness. So that if you don't give that child his or her own time, and explain things in the best way that you can about the other child, you're going to have a very resentful, angry, and even sick child. And we have had that in the office, where they reverse roles, and the child who is or was sick becomes the one who's not as sick anymore, and the one who thought he was healthy but is resentful becomes sick, and there might or might not be anything wrong with that child. And so you really have to take care, be very prayerful, very thoughtful, but also be there as a parent. Is it exhausting? Absolutely. And sometimes you'll just have to stop what you're doing and take that child who supposedly is not sick, but perhaps inside his little heart he is, because he's missing his life. And you're going to have to spend some time and go out and stop life from going and give up something that you really wanted to do. You can spend time with that child. So never forget that, parents. You just have to make sure that you share yourself with the child that's not sick as well as the child who is sick.
I actually saw it in the family years ago. The older child, there were only two in the family, but the older child had, wasn't going to live long. Mm-hmm. But she lived to be in her teens, but she was wheelchair ridden. She just had, the things. And obviously, we know who gets all the attention, both from their mama and daddy. Probably some resentment from the little brother. But I have never talked to him about it. I haven't seen him in years, except at a funeral the other day, and I didn't even know him. So we're going to reconnect. We came to that conclusion. But other members of the family, the extended family, the friends, the relatives, everybody was worried about her. She lived until she was in her teen years. And this kid, the other kid, the boy, I mean, he had to experience quite a bit of trauma in his own head.
Right.
That's right. It's very mixed feelings that child has, because they're rather abandoned, all alone, and it's not like they don't miss and love that sibling that maybe passed away or isn't around.
There's going to be
that makes it even tougher.
But there's going to be resentment there. You know that it's going to have to be resentment. I can't go out. I can't do this. I'm 10 years old and I can't get out. I can't get any attention. I can't go play catch with daddy because he's busy.
Yep.
I'm sorry. What?
If that's a 2-parent home, then the solution is there.
Yeah.
If it's a one-parent home, you still have to find the
It's more
time for that other
difficult.
child.
Yeah, seek help from grandparents, seek help from aunts, uncles. Just tell them, hey, how about taking this kid out and helping him out or whatever? I'll give you some money. Go to the store, do whatever. Friends, neighbors, there will be somebody there that will help you. I think.
Right.
Well, and everybody needs a break. And your fear is that child, the sicker child, the sickly child, will pass away while you're not there. But everybody needs a break, and you do too. So take a break and take your child out and spend some good time. Go get an ice cream and talk about them.
Absolutely.
With that kid, they will. Just play mini pop up somewhere.
Yeah.
Just an hour, just their own time, and for that moment. Don't necessarily talk about the illness and the problem that you have. Just talk about things that are light and easy and good.
Well, it's all good advice, and hopefully some folks will take advantage of it. I'll make it a little light right now. With my family, I did pay a little bit more attention to one daughter than I did the others.
Mm-hmm.
I paid attention to my daughter, Candy.
Mm-hmm.
I ignored the others completely.
You only had one.
Well, that doesn't count, does it?
He told us he was going to take it light.
Candy's rolling her eyes right now.
Oh, she is.
She is rolling her eyes.
I keep talking about her brother, and she said, "Wait, what?" I said, "Your older brother."
And he come into the picture.
Yeah, and she looks at me sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's the way it goes. Okay, Dr. Rose, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And watch out for a little bit of possible rain this weekend.
Yeah. Maybe
we got some stuff hanging around the beaches, the coast here. It's not doing anything right now, but it could develop into something. So.
I've heard that. You guys all take care, and we'll talk next week.
You got it. Take care. Is Wuhan terrorism coming to the United States? I'm going to ask you about that. Would you be surprised if it was?
I had that queued up and ready to bring up.
2 Chinese nationals were charged yesterday with smuggling a dangerous biological, actually it was yesterday, Wednesday. Yeah, it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
A dangerous biological pathogen. That just sounds deadly, right? Into the United States to study. They brought some crap into the United States to study at the University of Michigan laboratory. FBI Director Kash Patel said, this case points out a serious national security threat to America's food supply.
Well, he's being funded by the Chinese government to do this, to do the research.
He said that, in his words, the Chinese Communist Party continues to deploy operatives and researchers to infiltrate our institutions and target our food supply, an act that could cripple our economy and endanger American lives. Those are the words from the FBI director. Now, I want y'all to listen up and pay attention to a couple of things as I talk about it. We're not talking about 2 18, 19, 20-year-old kids going to college. University of Michigan research fellow Young King Jian, and her boyfriend, Zunyang Lu, both citizens of the People's Republic of China, have been charged in a criminal complaint with conspiracy, smuggling goods into the United States, false statements, and visa fraud. The two are accused of smuggling a fungus called, please forgive me,
Big word.
Fusarium graminarium. Don't ask me to do it again.
Sounds good
which
to me.
Scientific literature classifies as a potential agro-terrorism weapon. It's a fungus.
Yes, it's
Weapon
a fungus.
Of mass destruction. Federal prosecutors note the noxious fungus causes head blight, a disease of wheat, barley, maize, and rice, and is responsible for billions of dollars in economic losses worldwide every year. Toxins cause vomiting, liver damage, and reproductive defects in humans and livestock.
Great.
Wonderful. According to the criminal complaint, 33-year-old Jihan, whatever, received Chinese government funding. The Chinese government funding is from the Chinese Communist Party, which controls the Chinese government. She got this money, commie money, for her work on the pathogen in China. 34-year-old Liu, her boyfriend, works at a Chinese university where he conducts research on the same pathogen. That's according to the complaint filed by the feds. Federal prosecutors say he first lied, but then admitted to smuggling fusarium yada 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 into the United States through the Detroit Metropolitan Airport. I hope you weren't on the plane. His goal was to conduct research on the pathogen at the laboratory at the University of Michigan, where his girlfriend Jian worked. All of this is what the investigation report and the FBI documents are showing. The feds point out that they cannot actually take a complaint to court, but can use the complaint to seek indictments against this pair of idiots. Not sure if both of these folks are being held in custody right now or not. If not, you can bet that the Chinese Communist Party will seek to sneak them back to China, or they will be neutralized.
Well, get this. When he tried to go through customs, the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol found a wad of tissues in his pocket. They said the tissues concealed a note in Chinese, a round piece of filter paper with a series of circles drawn on it, and 4 clear plastic baggies with small clumps of reddish plant materials.
Glad they caught them,
inside.
people. Glad they caught it.
Yes. And then it just says right here, I was just reading where she had to go before the court, and while they read the charges to her, and they had her shackled at the waist.
Good.
And of course her hands and everything.
She's 33 years old. She's not a teenage student, people. Why are we allowed? How long are we going to put up with this? I'm complaining about foreign students using our resources, our labs, to do heaven knows what. And even if what they're doing seems good on the surface, how does it benefit us? Why are we allowing a foreign student to take the place at a place that's overcrowded? All universities are overcrowded. But if you allow a foreign student to come in to do work on stuff, on projects to take back home to their place, that we don't know what they're going to do, what kind of work they're going to do back in their homes, but we're allowing them to do that while we don't allow a U.S. citizen, a student, to go to that college, that university, to work on projects here. What's the possibility that taking the knowledge back to their home countries will be used to develop weapons? Whether military or agro weapons to be used against us. What are the chances that that's going to happen? It's happened before. We know it. Does any reasonable American believe that the Chinese Communist government, which is run by the Chinese Communist Party, has anything but deadly plans for the people of this country? Do you think that they want to do good for this country?
Nope. Yeah, well, let's study this bad stuff that could create another COVID, but let's do it in the United States so if it leaks out, it affects them, not us.
It starts there, and we won't get the blame for it.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie says he trusts the Chinese. They seem nice. I know you're being funny, aren't you, Charlie?
Charlie, go back to whatever you were smoking. I know better, Charlie. Okay, we got a special guest in the studio. I haven't seen him in 4 weeks now. He's back. Ladies, Mr. Wright is in the house. You can send your name and telephone number and your bank account and all that sort of good stuff. Send it to us this morning. We'll take good care of it for you. We'll introduce you to Mr. Wright. Peter Wright, how you doing?
Very well, thanks. How are you guys?
Well, we're hanging in here. It's warmer than it was when you were here last time, probably.
It is. I brought my leather jacket for some reason this morning and realized I didn't need it.
Were you thinking you were going to the North Pole today?
I don't know what I was thinking.
Just grabbed it and ran. Standard operating procedure. I got you. we're going to talk about Medicare, Medicaid, especially, I want to talk about for old people like me, because that's where Medicare generally applies. The younger set of the old people, the 65-year-olds down, 66 or 67 before they get it?
Before they get Social Security,
yeah.
but they get Medicare at 65.
They can get that at 65. You got to pay out of pocket for it then. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if that's what you want. And it might not be a bad idea, a bad plan to get started on it, because we just don't know what's going to be happening as time goes by, and how much more difficult it's going to be to get it, or whether it's going to be automatic, or I don't know what kind of restrictions our government will place on it when a new administration comes on board in 3.5 years. I'm just being realistic here. You just never know. If I was turning 65 and I knew I couldn't get Social Security benefits, but I could get Medicare, I think I'd go ahead and sign up for it, because you're going to pay for some kind of insurance anyway.
Well, I know, seeing my wife, she was really happy to get Medicare because we were paying a lot for her insurance before that. So because she was working.
There you go. Well, so anyway, so it's a good thing to talk about, even if you're not going to be going on Social Security, getting your benefits from Social Security until even when you're 70. You may want to give some serious thought, and Peter will be the guy to talk to. It might not be good for you. You're still working. Your company may be paying 100% or 90% of your insurance premiums or whatever. That might be the best plan for you. It might not be. So, but you got to talk to him. You can't talk to me. I don't know. I know nothing. He's the expert here.
You guys know quite a lot.
Well, I've learned from osmosis and from my personal stuff, but I don't know anything about what affects them. I know what affects me now. And I didn't even know that before. I didn't know what applied to me. I have learned a bunch. It's kind of like learning those computers. I always had somebody doing it for me when I was working in the real world. Mm-hmm. In fact, our computer guru said, "Don't touch it." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
Because if I touch it, I start experimenting. He said,
"When you start hitting keys, you shouldn't be hitting."
Oh, I did.
Yeah, well,
he said, "Don't touch it. Don't touch it." And he said, "There's a little thing there called F11, F11. You can just keep hitting F11, F11, F11 to do things.
Right.
And that'll cut out a bunch of stuff." I said, "I'll tell you what, I'm going to page you."
And it goes to blue screen.
So what I did, when I had a problem, all I did, I picked up the phone, I hit the paging system, and I said, F11, F11 to the newsroom right now.
Right.
And he would come running. If I paged him overhead, he knew that I was having a problem or getting ready to create one. Either way, he could prevent it or fix it very quickly that way.
I'd be yelling, "Everybody shut down your computers for a minute."
Pretty much that's what he would do. But anyway, for Medicare questions, same thing. Don't come to me. Don't come to your close friend who said, "Oh, well, this is what I did." And I don't care what he did. I want to know what Peter tells me is right. Oh, God, that was that was an unintended.
That was unintentional, but it worked.
But anyway, if you want some good information, and it's not going to cost you anything, the only advice that I will give you when your phone rings, "Hey, this is Sarah," just say no. I don't care what the question is they ask you. Say, "It's going to be a recording." Just say no. "May I ask how old you are?" I've started using 13. I used to use 112.
I'm done. I'm 17.
No, 13. Click. And they hang up right away. They hang up.
Yeah.
That's a clever idea.
That's even more fun than just cussing them out. This is what I was doing, because they were recording and they didn't care.
They just wanted that click. They wanted you to answer the phone so they could get credit.
Okay. Then I get things though. I get things from health and wellness or prevention information in the mail from Blue Cross. That's who my Medicare Advantage plan thing is on. But I get it in the mail. They actually pay postage to send it to me, and it's coming direct to me. It's not to whom it may.
What?
That system that was just a blob is now an X.
You just scared me. I didn't know what.
It just popped up as an X.
Oh my gosh.
It's 8 o'clock for the 8 o'clock National Hurricane Center Advisory. We now have an X out there. It's on the Georgia Florida border.
We have an X.
We have a
We do.
Three X's,
Absolutely.
4 X's. We know we're in trouble.
Oh, okay.
can be very obscene.
Well, it says zero chance of cyclone formation in 7 days, but they've got it as a yellow X now. You're right.
It wasn't just a blob. Okay, sorry, we'll get back to it
Shoot,
later
you
on.
scared me.
But this is stuff here. They send this information out, which is kind of cool. Struggling with joint and muscle pain. If I got somebody on the phone that calls me, Mr. Brown, yeah, well, they don't ever say that. They use my first name. They think they're cool by using my first name. I don't know you. How do you
They try.
How can you call me by my first name and all you guys a piece of paper? I'm insulted right up front. So right now, you've already made me mad. So really, seriously, I don't know you. You can't address me by my first name. Child, 22 years of age, speaking a foreign language. Anyway, I don't mind these things. This is good information. This is actual information that I can read and digest at my own time frame, my own. It's okay. And if I want more information, I can dial it or some kind of blob here I can scan, it says.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is because I don't do those. But it's got a telephone number to go with it and a website to go with it. Hello? That's the kind of service that I want to get. That's legitimate. Comes in the mail, got my name on it.
I've
And a
always
return
thought,
address, and they put a stamp on it to get it here.
I've always thought very highly of Blue Cross.
And if I don't want it, they also send me this other note. No, seriously, dear Blue Cross NC member, we'd like to inform you of your right to opt out of phone calls and yada, 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 dealing with your plan.
Mhm.
If I don't want to talk to you, that's okay. I can do that too. I can just call them
I
or
have a
go
question.
to the website or do whatever.
Do they enclose a self-addressed stamped envelope for
No,
you to send that back in?
It's a website
Right.
or it's a telephone number. Either one. You can click or send an email or call them. They pay for the phone call. That's a legitimate company. The only advice I'll give you when you get the phone call out of the blue from people you don't know, just say no.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't
Am I
answer
about
the
right?
call.
Yeah, do not say, yeah,
Don't-
you want to
Don't
hang the
engage.
phone up.
Don't engage them in
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
If it's
Because-
obviously a recorded line, just you can have all the fun you want there.
Up until this month, I've had 4 to 6 people each month being phoned up,
Scam.
being swapped onto a different plan.
Really?
And then I
They fell
phoned them
for
back up. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Well,
Was it- Yeah, it was.
here's
Yeah,
a
I got-
suggestion to our federal government.
Yeah, do something
Why
about it.
don't you cut all that out? Tell those companies they can't do that anymore. Make it a thing where they can get fined.
Let me tell you why.
And then have the major insurance companies send stuff by mail, which is in turn going to help the U.S. Postal Service with, so this could
Always
be a
helping the postal
win-win.
guys. Here's why that threatening them won't work, or even trying to take them to court. They're in Nigeria or in Indonesia or in some island somewhere, and the federal government's got no control over them.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you get to, you're not talking to anybody in this country.
Nope.
So you may be talking to someone from another state who really doesn't care about you. They just want the commission. And
Well,
that's
that
what
too.
because that's really what I'm seeing. I mean, I've seen people who reside in Onslow and it actually, I think it was Duplin County. They were in Onslow County and they had a Blue Cross plan. And I noticed that they were about to change. So I phoned them up and said, what's happening? And they said, well, somebody phoned them up and they can get this Aetna plan. So I said, you can't get Aetna in Onslow County. So I went along to have a look. And the person who had signed them up had said that they were now in Duplin County.
Okay. My phone service picks up a lot of the potential spams and suspected spams and yada, yada, yada. Look at that number right there. Read that number for where it says potential spam. Where did that come from? 252 something, right? That's a North Carolina
Right,
area code, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. That's a fake number. Okay.
Mhm.
I checked it. And then we got the other one down here that suspected spam. It just says North Carolina. It's got a North Carolina number listed with it. It did, but it's now been blocked.
Right.
Yep.
And I block them all. And sometimes it will ring one time and then it hangs up automatically. So my blocking is working.
Well,
That's
here's a
another
hint.
one. Block every one of them on your cell phone.
Let me ask you, Rayford. Let me ask you, Peter. And I know what my answer is. Have you ever gotten a call concerning your Medicare, your health insurance from someone that spoke English and you knew was from the States? Have you ever gotten one of those?
They don't normally get that far with me.
I mean,
I don't think
every
so.
call I've ever gotten
I don't
was
think so.
someone with a, you
Here's
can tell they're not.
Here's the call that you will get.
That doesn't work too well because listen to my accent. I mean,
No,
We don't get any British accents. We get.
No, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Most
obviously
every
Indonesian
call
or
you
something
get.
else. But wait, what you will get, what I have gotten, which is one of the new scams, if it comes with a voice like that, you obviously just click off, right?
Right.
But if it's, hi, this is Sarah, and I'm here to talk. I'm here to talk to you about you. How are you today?
Robo.
Ain't worth a dang. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, and it's a robocall. But
Right.
if you're interested in letting us provide you with some insurance plans, click 2. I think it's 2. Most of them seem to be number 2. Just punch number 2. You can punch, by the way, in the number that they give you. It's going to go to the same person. And then you're going to get the guy in Indonesia or Pakistan or somewhere. You're going to find somebody somewhere else. They're going to be trying to talk you into doing this business. They're not in this country. But the initial robocall may be coming from this country because it looks legit to you. Oh, yeah, I'd like to talk to somebody. Sarah, you sound sweet. What can you do for me, Sarah? Click, and then it goes somewhere else. Unless you do like I do.
Yeah. But I would also say that we've also got unscrupulous agents over here too.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
They're
not
actually
all foreign.
licensed?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Because they're looking for for a commission.
Okay. Peter is available to answer your questions. You can call him right now. You can call him, have him come by your house, I presume, right? Sit down and have a one-on-one chat.
I can come by your house or meet you in a McDonald's or
Wherever there's
or
tea and
do it over
cookies.
the phone.
As long as they get some tea
At least I have some tea and cookies.
and a big parking lot. What do you call that parking lot? What is it?
The parking
I
lot.
call it car park.
A car
the
park.
car park.
Car park. You can.
Cheers.
As long as they got a big car park and so and a place that he can get some tea or whatever, then that's good. But seriously, meet him in person. Talk with him on the phone. He'll answer your questions by phone. He won't have to see you to begin with if you don't want to, but you're probably going to want to. If you're getting these calls, if you're approaching 65, even if it's next year, I strongly suggest you give him a ringy-dingy and just set up something to have a chat with. We talked about scams. What are some of the good things that we're seeing? I know you got a big old book open up there. Are you seeing some things that we might need to know come this fall?
They're not talking about those yet.
They're not.
So no, because it's all hush hush.
So is there anything you can't talk about that you can share with me? We won't tell anybody.
No, we won't tell anybody at all.
Well, I mean,
You don't know. Y'all don't know, do you?
all I can say is I think, because I got a lot of people on Blue Cross plans. I represent all the companies, but I got a lot of people on Blue Cross plans, and it seems a good, solid company. And I met with them recently, and everything still looks well. I mean, we won't know until October, but it looks like a good, solid company. I think you can be happy in a plan.
Y'all know that if anybody doesn't know that I'm notoriously skeptical of anything and everybody, right? That's my nature. It's my experience with people in the past, and things are. Oh, that sounds too good to be true. I honestly sat here and listened while you talked with Lee and with Kelly about plans over the last couple of years. I said, well, I'll take a look at it, but I'm being disgustingly skeptical sometimes. And I probably should have jumped on it. I wish I had jumped onto it 2 years ago, but I listened to Lee and her good experiences, Kelly and her good experiences, especially with somebody she's helping take care of. I listened to all of that, and I'm like, I've never heard a bad thing. I said, so 2 out of 2, that's 100%. That's
Yeah.
batting. That's batting 1,000 either way. When I look at it, those odds are in my favor. So I gave it a whirl. So first of the year, I was on the plan. I haven't paid. I did. I just had to pick up a series of prescriptions. One of them cost me $2.69. I was like, holy crap, I didn't come with any money. Because up until then, I haven't paid for anything. Copays out the window.
I have no copays.
I mean, like, really? With just my doctor's visits and the amount of money I was paying on my share of the money for my prescriptions, I'm already hundreds of dollars ahead of the game. And this is just June.
Yep, that's good news.
And that's not including the $84 I get every quarter. I've got 2 quarters worth. That's $168 so far. $128 for the first 2 quarters of this year for aspirin if I want them, or bandages if I want them, or my over-the-counter Nexium that I was paying over-the-counter prices for, which was $42 and something. I think it was $42 for 42 pills.
Yeah.
That was my share. I mean, well, that's what that cost me OTC, but I don't pay for that. I swipe that little card, done.
Yeah.
And then I still got money left on the card. Oh, and I joined Courts Plus. They're listed as one of those, and sat down. I just pulled in one day, sat down, talked to the gentleman out there, and he says, "Come on, let's talk." I said, "They say that this program, you guys, well, we do. We accept that program." So he took my information and he did some whiz-bang, and he picked up the phone and he called, and I had to answer a few questions by the phone. He put it on speaker, and I said, yes, no, okay, yep, done. Here's your free membership. Really?
Yeah.
I got 2 swimming pools. They belong to me.
Yes.
I can use any time that they're open, and they're open a lot. They're open more than they're closed.
Oh, of course, there's the outside one now. I was thinking 2 swimming. I was just thinking the indoor
there's one
one
in and one out.
Yeah,
because
I haven't looked at the
outside one's gorgeous when it gets to be July and hot. It's cool enough to enjoy it.
I've never seen the outside one.
Well, you should venture outside from time to time. But it's that's part of the plan.
Yeah. And also your teeth. That's something I've just had. I've had a root canal just redone that went wrong and that had gone wrong. And and I saw a dentist that's out of network, so I had to pay a little bit more because they're out of network, and so they can charge what they want to charge. But still, most of the charge was paid for by the.
Let me tell you about the outer network on a previous plan that I had.
Yep.
They didn't have any doctor within 50 miles of here in the network for a plan that I used to have. $800.
Phew.
Any dentist or any doctor?
Any dentist. There was no dentist.
Okay.
$800 for that root canal that you're talking about. $800 out of my pocket.
Yeah.
I had an insurance plan, and it would cover it, but it would not cover it if it was out of unless there was nobody else here. And I said, well, even look at the phone book, y'all. There's nobody here. Look at your list. Find me one in this area. There wasn't one except the one that was out of a couple of them were out of the network. So I got the one and did it. They wouldn't pay for it. That frosted my backside right up front. So I've been mad ever since. But I got one, and when I signed up for this, here's what you do, folks. When you want to sign up for this stuff, check with Peter. Tell him who your preferred carriers are, who your preferred providers are for your dentist, your doctor, your chiropractor, your toenail doctor, anything to go wrong, your proctologist, if you got that, your podiatrist, if you need that, whatever. By the way. So when that, check with him. So you'll send him, supply that list and be sure that they're in your network under the plan that you're signing up for. If they're not, he'll give you a list of those who are. You can find those who are in the plan, right?
Yeah.
In the network. Yeah. So you may want to change, or you may want to keep your plan you got. It's up to you. Just my personal advice. Now, what else should people be doing now?
Well, so I'm in a situation at the moment. It's quite interesting.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's an uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I've been having a little bit of pain in my body. And so I went to the doctor and we've been doing tests and they found I've got high lipase levels, which means very high lipase levels, actually, which is it indicates that you've got pancreatitis. Something wrong with your pancreas, perhaps.
Wow.
I may not.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this because we've just found it out, and I was getting pain not in my pancreas, as far as I'm aware, but in my kidneys. So we're not sure if this is just a temporary thing or
water with lime juice or lemon juice in it.
Okay. So I've spoken to my doctor at some length about it, and I'm having an MRCP on Friday, which is when they do an MRI and they do I think it's called with contrast. So you do it without an injection of something in you, and then with an injection, and they compare the two and determine what's wrong with you. They can see a lot of what's wrong with you, if there is anything, and there may be nothing.
Let's hope there's nothing.
But what it has made me do is go and check all the insurances,
Of course,
that I've got, and
just in case.
yeah, just in case, and know where, if what I've done is, good or if it isn't. And I think, as you know, I've mentioned several times that you can put, if you want a good solid, Medicare plan. In this case, I've got the Advantage plan. And you can put some extra plans with it as well, like a cancer plan or a hospital indemnity plan, to fill in some of the holes, because all these type of plans have some holes, or
Got some things that not everybody needs, but you might want.
or a short-term home healthcare plan in case you have to stay in bed for a while, or you need help at home. So I obviously in the last couple of weeks have been reevaluating my choices as to what I got, and personally, I'm happy about the Blue Cross plan. I'm very happy about that.
Good.
So let me ask you all just one question here. I want you to think about it for just a second. Would you want to take the advice of a 31-year-old insurance salesman over the phone? Somebody who's never been sick a day in his life, except maybe had a hangover one morning.
That's right.
Maybe had some childhood diseases like measles. Or would you like to talk to people like Peter or me? And I know nothing about insurance, but I have ailments. I've been through a bunch of different stuff. And Peter's been through and going through a bunch of different stuff, as you just heard. He's going to be studying all this stuff in here to find out what is best for him. And he'll do the same thing for you. So who do you want?
Well, how many of you sit at home and say, well, I'm going to be having a special surgery or something. Let me get out all my healthcare stuff and go through it page by page to see if it's going to cover everything I need. I don't do it.
No, I'll pick up the phone and call Peter.
Exactly.
Seriously, that's what I do. Interpret this for me. And
Exactly.
It's like, some of the stuff that I get in the mail, I bring in here to show him. I know what this said. I got in the mail from Blue Cross, so that was all good. But some of the other stuff that comes in, and most of it's unsolicited. They just, dear so-and-so, dear Mr. Homeowner,
Yes.
dear Mr. Yada.
Yes.
And when I get a call, said, our records show that you have a backache. Well, first of all,
Yes, I've had those
obviously
phone calls.
everybody has a backache, right? Well, it's the most common complaint that everybody has. And no, I don't have a back. What? No, they took it out. So, I know that there's scammers right up front.
Right.
I know they just want to get their foot in my door.
Right.
And they're no different than the door-to-door salesman of yesteryear who used to come in and try. And they used to try to do this stuff and try to get in my door. No, you're not going to get in my door.
Well, you bring up a very good point, and this is one thing that bothers me about health insurance companies. It's like the last time I went to the chiropractor for my back and had an adjustment done, it was like 3-4 months later, I get phone calls from these people saying, oh, we understand that you have back issues or you had back pain. And, well, you know, and they were trying to talk me into switching over to their type of plan. First of all, who was giving them my medical information?
I did the investigation on that.
Please tell me.
I now know exactly. They've got people they hire all around the country to sit in front of chiropractors' offices with a camera, and they run their tag numbers to see who they are.
Okay, so I'll start taking an Uber. Okay. No, but it just bothers
Just get
me.
some fake tags. I do it.
They don't have a right to know that. And you know, is the health
I don't know
insurance company selling information?
There are some companies that will do that,
But isn't there,
unscrupulously or otherwise.
wouldn't that almost borderline be like a HIPAA thing?
I would think it would be
How would they
suicidal
know?
personally, but if I catch you at it,
Right. Well,
worst case of suicide you've ever seen. Stole log chains, tried to swim the river with it. Idiot.
stream station.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, that people can contact you. You will give them the straight scoop. We know. I know that. 3 of us know that for sure.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk bad about you behind your back. You know, we know for a fact what you do.
We say it over and over because he's helped every one of us.
Yeah, and then we compare notes in here,
Yes.
not over the air. Sometimes
Yeah.
we just talk about, hey, here's what we did. And
Look what I got. Right. Yes.
So let's say if I do have cancer,
yes,
I did put, because I mentioned to you guys several times about, it may be an idea. I used to sell cancer plans years ago, and I stopped doing it because I found I talk about my mother dying when I was young of cancer. Yeah. So I found that it got me down. So I stopped talking about it that much. But a year and a half ago or so, I took a cancer plan out on myself because I am a high risk because of the drugs that I take for my rheumatoid arthritis.
Really?
And because my mother had it in the past. So I thought probably be crazy not to have one. And we have this, a maximum out of pocket on plans, and it's $5,000 on the plan I'm in. Yeah, it's
really?
So if you need Part B drugs, for something like cancer, I'm unlikely to have a heart attack or stroke because my heart's in really good. Well, I don't know about the stroke, but my heart's in really good. The doctor, when I saw it, said it's boring. So
mine's I'm looking good right now, but that stuff can change in the blink of an eye, can't it, Lee?
Yeah.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, things can change.
Today's weather, then boom, and we're like, where'd wafer go?
Yeah, right down.
right down to the floor.
Hiding on the floor.
Yes.
I was.
Yeah.
So I took a cancer plan out, and for a total of $10,000. So if they find me with cancer, I get a $10,000 lump sum. But
wow.
I also, and that's costing me, I think it was about $55 a month. But it also has it's with a particular company, and it has a plan on it that they will check and see. I'm trying to find that plan. I don't think I brought it with me right now, but it has it's called T-Gen. Because I'm in this plan, this cancer plan, they can take a sample of my blood and a sample of the tissue of a biopsy of the actual cancer, and they can send it off, and they can then scan this lab, which is part of this cancer insurance or affiliated with this cancer insurance, will then check it against, I think it's 19,000 different genes.
Oh, wow.
To see what people in the past, if it's a similar cancer to what people in the past have had, and what treatments have worked the best for those people. So I know that I'll probably go to Duke if I do have cancer, but I don't know where I'll end up going. We'll find out. I may not have cancer at all, but this gives me an opportunity to have a second opinion. So if there is something that's
Wow.
that is wrong, then hey, I've got another team of people, because apparently I spoke to the company a year and a half ago when I took this policy out for myself, and said, why is this worthwhile? And they said, well, because your doctor will only check against 300 different cases or so, all the cancer places. This will check against a lot more because it's countrywide and so on. So I thought, well, that may or may not be true. Maybe I'm being skeptical, but the one thing that I would want to have would be a second opinion. This gives me the
for sure
option. So now I am very happy that I've been paying, say it's $55 every month for that insurance, because not really, the lump sum, that will help me, and it gives me more money, if something is wrong with me. I don't have to worry about things.
now I don't have that plan, but let's just say I go to the doctor and they say, okay, we got a suspicious activity here. It's going to pay for them to tell me, diagnose it for my normal regular type stuff, right?
Yes,
And then-
MRCP they're doing. It's been covered by Blue Cross.
And then, as I found out before, now I haven't had it since I had Blue Cross, but I did before with the other plan. They found a spot, and there was a sun-related thing, they said, and then they went in, they cut it out, and yada, 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 they paid for it.
Yeah.
So that's a normal process. I think the melanomas, the skin cancer type stuff is generally not, you don't have to have the
You don't have to
separate policy.
If you do have this, you get paid $500 3 times in your life. So you can,
You can take it.
but you don't have to, because I've had 5 Mohs surgeries in the last 2 years.
It pays you to get
And-
cancer then? No,
It pays you to get cancer.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
skin cancer. Yeah. Well, it pays,
But it doesn't cover skin
It
cancer.
pays my premium. This does.
pays your gas
This
bill.
does.
Yeah,
I
gotcha.
know. I was just reading it, and it said that was exempt. Let me go back
No,
and find it.
if you do the cancer benefit builder, and you do the skin cancer benefit rider has a
Oh, it's got a rider. Okay, I didn't get that far.
$500 per year skin cancer benefit,
Oh,
which
okay.
pays up to 3 times.
Oh, I see that now. That was on the back
Yeah.
page. I had not gotten that far. You're
Yeah.
right. Well, I should know you're right.
And it
Oh,
also,
Sam is right.
if you have cancer in situ, which is, I don't know why
Yeah, I was,
they do this, but if you have cancer in situ, then you normally only get paid a quarter of that. And cancer in situ means if it's just in one organ and it hasn't moved and it's not, there's more definitions to it than that, but it's often those are
Okay.
more curable.
Now, what happens, we go along and,
Yeah.
I do not have a predisposition for cancer in the
Yeah.
family.
wait.
Yes, my dad had it, but it was mesothelioma that he got it
Mom.
because of his working, what he did
Yeah.
prior to World
Yeah.
War II and during World
Yeah.
War II. That's not one of those predisposition things that I should have to think that just because he got it because of a work environment situation. Mesothelioma is a special kind of cancer, right?
Yeah.
Asbestos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if I do not opt to have one of these, but I go there and I'm the anomaly, and suddenly I've got a cancer, or they're pretty sure, can I then take out this policy?
No. Once they find the cancer, you
Okay.
can't.
Kind of like flood,
Yeah.
hurricane, wind, and hail insurance. Once there's a storm in your neck of the woods, too late to take it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you
Yeah.
signed up already? Are you going to sign up before you go get your MRI?
No. I've had this for a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
So it's covered the skin cancers that I've had. And so, in other words, up till now, I haven't really been paying a premium because I've had the $500 claim last year, $500 claim this year because of the skin cancers that I've had. And that's basically paid my premium. So that is good. That is one plan.
You bring up a question for me.
Yeah.
I've had 2 skin cancers that I've had removed. but my insurance covered everything. I paid no copay. I had nothing out of pocket. So what makes this better for me than what I'm already have?
Suppose you get lung cancer.
No, I'm talking on the skin cancer
So
aspect of it.
well, on skin cancer, it just gives you a little bit of a lump sum. It wouldn't make any difference really to you in
It
terms
would
of that.
offset the cost
But
of the
what-
premium.
But what it would do if you got cancer, it gives you a lump sum of money. And when you get cancer, you get incidental expenses. I know my mother, when she got it, she had to go, miles away to be treated at one of the
Like
best
going to
hospitals.
Duke or something
And so
like
my
that.
father had to go up there, and so there's those incidental
That's right.
expenses that you otherwise would you
But
wouldn't have the
that
money
was the question
possibly
I was asking because
cover.
I just wanted to get
Yeah.
it out there, the differences and why
Yeah.
it's beneficial if you're prone to like cancer in the family. This might be something you might want to consider
Yeah.
because like my mother had kidney cancer and
Yeah.
she had surgery that took most all the tumor off her kidney, but it left just a little spot. But they said it was a slow type growing, and she lived to the age of 89. So,
Wow. Yeah.
But then and again, there you go, cancer in the family.
So I mean, it's entirely up to a person involved, and I have not pushed I have not pushed cancer policies. I haven't really. I've spoken about them just briefly and seen if there's any interest.
Oh, yeah. It's
that's
extremely.
been,
And I just don't understand. I mean, they've been for years and years and years trying to develop a cure to cancer, and they just can't find one.
Too profitable.
And it makes you wonder. But I mean, this is a great plan from what I'm reading. This GTL is a nonprofit organization that studies and does studies on cancers and can offer you more than what an insurance policy can from a, like Blue Cross or something.
Peter, right now they can reach you at home on your telephone number and wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
And since I don't have it in front of me and I don't remember,
I know it.
It's been a while. You're
Okay.
looking at it.
No, because I've already posted it. 252-675-4488.
Yeah.
Or you can go to foxfoxplans.com.
No, you can't.
so
Tell
that's
me where you got to go. What was that web address now?
That was it.
No, not.
or email me at peter@foxfoxplans.com.
There you go. It's Fox Plans.
I said it wrong. I knew it as soon as you go, no, that's wrong. I was like,
Fox,
oh, you're
Fox
right.
Plans. You got to say it right or it won't work.
Eh, 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 eh.
And I have to keep saying it the same way now. Because
Absolutely.
Is Peter at?
Foxplans.com.
I didn't get your email.
And the phone number is 252-675-4488.
4488. And after you call him, you can go meet him in the park, in the car
The
park,
car park.
and have some tea.
You can park your car in the car park and go into the whatever restaurant wherever he is, and have some tea.
Cheers.
Some chai.
Or a bowl of Cheerios. I know I'm pushing it.
You just went over the line. That's it. You're over. Done.
But this is great information.
Peter, thank you.
really
It is good information. It's an informational session. We like to have this every month, and there's you generally we do this in the fall and through December and actually
Yes.
into February and up into March, in
You
fact,
know, right
because there are special ways you can change your desires. If you got a plan right now you don't like, you'll be able to change it coming up. There are some situations you can talk to Peter about them. If you got some special set of circumstances, you can ask him. We won't go into all of them because who knows whether it applies to you or not. But call him. It's simple enough to do.
Mhm.
If I just don't like my plan because I don't like the color of the paper that it's written on, no, you're not going to be able to change it. But if you can ask him whether you can or not, but he's going to tell you no. But if there's some special circumstance that you're going through that you've seen and it's not listed anywhere, call him and ask him. If he doesn't know, he'll ask, and then he'll tell you.
Do you want to take this moment on behalf of all of us? I'll let Rayford speak for himself, but I'm going to add Kelly to what I'm saying. Is that we hope everything goes well Friday,
It will.
and that your test
I
results are
think it will.
positive.
Yeah, I'm.
And of good news.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some great news coming your way.
Yes.
Well, I'm fully prepared, and I'm not actually worried about it because I've
You got stuff to
prepared.
take
I've
care
got
of.
myself. Yeah, I've sorted myself out. So
You're smart.
Peter Wright is the epitome of the Boy Scout motto.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
be,
he
Be
is.
prepared.
mhm.
And that's what you do. That's what you really need to be doing.
And I'm grateful for what he has brought to us and taught us.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Peter, thank you. We do appreciate you coming in again.
Well, thanks very much.
All
It's
right.
always
And
fun to be
we'll
here.
see you in a month, and we'll
yeah.
see and you will have the all clear by then, won't you?
Yep, I will.
There you go. Come in with bells and whistles on. You could come in and with the little tweets and come on through the door.
Well, it could just be inflammation, and it will
Could very well
subside.
be
Yeah,
next
so
to nothing.
we will see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay.
Have a good
Pleasure.
rest of your day.
thank you, Peter, as always. You're
And,
Thanks.
very informative.
and good luck on that test. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I got you covered.
Right.
We
Okay.
got your back.
Gotcha. We
Thanks.
gotcha. Uh-oh.
Cheers.
Weather disappeared.
What happened? Did
I,
that hurricane disappear?
no, I closed out my weather.
Oh,
Let
so
me-
the
I'll get
hurricane
it.
is still
I've got
there?
time. It's not a hurricane.
It's an X.
Oh, wait. I didn't get a chance to ask Peter next time you come on. I want to delve into a little bit of you personally. Like, what made you want to
Wow.
come to the United States? No, this is all good
This
stuff.
is for all.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
This is
yeah.
for all the ladies out there. They want to know more about Mr. Wright.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I was like, what makes Peter want to come,
And why did I settle over in this area? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll do that the next time you come in. What you had to say today was much more
I just
important.
want to know, you're going to celebrate the 4th of July this year?
Yeah. I'm celebrating 4th of. Well, why? Why are you saying
Independence Day from Great Britain?
I celebrated? Yeah. I couldn't wait to leave England when I was young.
There you go, guys. Now you got it. Hey, y'all want-
Honestly, but I think it was because my mother had passed away when
Yeah.
I was a youngster,
You
and
need to
I
change.
just saw it as a great.
you needed
place.
to change.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, good. We're happy that
Do
you
you
came
like
here.
comparing USA to England? Do you prefer the USA?
Yes, I do.
It's nice to know.
It's hard to come up with
That's great.
go Great Britain. It's go USA. Go USA.
But
Sounds good.
I will say that wherever you are in the world, I suppose if you're in Gaza, it's not going to apply. So some places where but mostly wherever you are in the world, it's your home is what you make of it.
Yeah, very true.
In most
And it's
cases,
the
it is.
connections and friendships
Very
and
true.
so on that you make.
Right. And
Yeah.
your government is what you and your friends make of it too,
Mhm.
in many cases,
Mhm.
including this US of A.
Yeah.
You don't like it, get your friends together. Don't overthrow it. Just vote them out.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Peter, thank you.
Thank you.
See you
Okay.
in a month.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes.
And this-
Okay, y'all want to go offshore, do some fishing? Yeah, well, we used to lie to ourselves and say it was we're going out there to catch some fish because it was fresh and it was cheap. Well, half of that's right. It's fresh. It ain't cheap, and it's cheaper to buy the fish. But I'm going to go in the boat anyway. So if I come back for fish, I never went fishing in my boat. I never did go in do any fishing in my boat. I went for a boat ride. I always carried fishing poles. So any fish that I caught as part of a boat ride was a bonus. So the fish in that case were free, right? I was going to pay the same thing to go for a boat ride.
Absolutely.
So I paid for a boat ride and I bought some fish back so the fish were free. That's the way I look at it. It's still cheaper if you want to just go out there and buy some fish to go to the fish market, but you got trouble is trying to find a good one. And please do not resort to those foreign things. Some of them you sort of might have to, but please Think about that. Only 2% of the fish that are brought into this country are examined by FDA, and half of that 2% fails. But that doesn't, the only that fish that fails, that 1% of the catch, that's that one fish out of 100 pounds, that's the only one they eliminate. If it fails, they don't go through and do each fish then. That means you get one that you know is good. You assume that 50% would be good, but by the same assumption, 50% of that whole catch is bad.
Right.
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 Is that what you want to eat? Not me, Jack. Not me.
Not me, Jack.
Local ball seafood, the best thing I can get. Be sure if you're catching it, though, be sure you're bagging it, you're doing things properly, putting it on ice and all that sort of good stuff to get it home. It's much more better that way anyway.
Much more.
Offshore, out to 20 nautical miles, you'll find southeasterly winds today, 10 to 15 knots, east 2 to 3 feet, 7 seconds apart. It's a nice day out there, y'all. Take advantage of it if you can. Boss, I'm not feeling too good today.
I have to go see Dr. Wave.
And my arm is in a cast too, so it will be shortly when I get out there. Thursday, southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 20 with gusts to 25 in the afternoon. In other words, today's your day. Seas 3 to 5 feet tomorrow. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop, increasing to choppy in the afternoon. Showers likely with a chance of thunder boomers. Offshore, don't know what it is here. We'll find out in a second. Southwesterly winds on Friday, about 10 knots, becoming westerly in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Sounds and rivers a light chop.
Today, partly sunny with a high near 83, southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Tonight, a chance of showers mainly after 3 a.m., cloudy with a low around 68. Thursday, an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high near 77. And you're going to tell us about that yellow X.
Yeah, we're going to take a look-see at this thing, this whole mess out here.
Yes.
W. Well, I'm just cussing the machine here to block stuff out when other stuff comes in. I'm looking at the radar, and we don't have anything in this neck of the woods, but this system that now is seemingly trying to develop, it's off the Florida coast all the way up. This low pressure is becoming a non-tropical low pressure system. It just looks like it's possibly going to form up increasingly likely that a development will occur inland over South Carolina and North Carolina. In other words, that could produce some showers and thunderstorms over the land masses and also along the beaches. As a result, it says the low's chances of acquiring subtropical or tropical characteristics have diminished. Okay, it looks now like not as much chance of it developing into anything. In fact, the percent went from 10 to 0.
Right.
So now we got nothing out there except an area is going to have some rain, thunder boomers, and stuff like that. So that's what your weather radios. That's what they're going to be booming about for over the next day or two. Not today, but Thursday, Friday, that time frame. So anyway, that's good news, bad news, but it's good news, better good news than bad news. Now, today, speaking of the weather radios, our buddy Donnie Cox over there, the chief meteorologist, that's the weather dude in charge at WCTI in New Bern. He's going to be in at the Piggly Wiggly in Richlands. He's not shopping. He might. He does like I do every time I stop. I go shopping. But he'll be at the Piggly Wiggly in Richlands beginning around 11 today through this afternoon. I think they said 5-ish. Don't hold me to that one. Get on over there. Do it. And you'll find some amateur radio operators there. If you find Randy, say hey. You find Lee, say hey. And whoever else is going to be there. We've got a whole list of them that will be programming radios. Your radios, you got one that needs to be reprogrammed. You bought it somewhere else. You ordered it online. Bring it by. They'll do it for nothing. If you don't have a weather radio, Piggly Wiggly has a stash of them inside. You can buy them. They're by the same price you're going to get them online. Pretty much exactly.
Yes.
You get some. Be sure you get some batteries to go with it. 3 AAAs, 3 AA's, as I recall. Don't hold me to that.
But you need to put those into your radio before you program it, or have these guys program it for you. Now, programming involves not a whole lot much more than you tell him or them. I don't know. Let's say you live in Richlands. You're going to want to know what the weather approaching you is. Like coming from Duplin, like
That's
a lot of
right.
that stuff comes in from the west, and Duplin County is, it gets there. You kind of want to know what it's going to be like there. I would assume. I would. In my radio here in Jacksonville, I've got program, of course, Onslow County. I've got Pender County, because a lot of crap comes from down there
Pender,
up the
Duplin.
coast. I've got Carteret County.
Yes.
I've got Jones County, of course. I've got Lenore County. A lot of mess comes from that direction.
Oh, yes.
And on occasion, we get some stuff coming from our northwest, so up towards Pitt County, believe it or not. I do have Craven in there too. So I've got like a half dozen counties.
You have, that's what I have.
In mine, just in case.
Right.
Just in case. Now, if you're really wise, you're really wise, you can have 2 radios.
Right.
Program one of them that you keep in your bedroom for the storms that'll be approaching, like tornadoes in the middle of the night, that you want to know when one is on the ground coming my way, your way. Have that thing. It'll go off in your ear very quickly and wake you up. If it's, but it's going to have to be local. If you do just Onslow County, for instance, if you live in Jacksonville, that's what I would do, just as a suggestion. Anyway, and Donnie will be there. He and the group. You can talk to Donnie and take pictures with him if you want to. He's always agreeable to that. Some of you may need to take a step stool because he's a nice tall guy. I'm just kidding, Robin. What?
Go ahead.
Your mouth is open. You're gonna catch flies if you keep that up. Anyway, it's a pretty good deal, and those radios. Your phone's going to go off if you subscribe to your phone subscribes to your local city of Jacksonville, county of Onslow, wherever their system. They will alert you, but they don't alert you until after they get the alert from the National Weather Service. Duh. It's same alert that you get 10 minutes earlier than they will get it. Sometimes it turns it right around very quickly. Sometimes not so fast. So the weather radio is the most expeditious way of getting it. The radio waves travel at 186,000 miles per second. So they come in here right now. When that radio wave goes out, it's there. You get it before you can blink your eye.
Well,
okay. Now I've rambled enough. I hope people will pay attention to that.
I hope so too.
Because thunderstorms can be very severe. Tornadoes can be spawned from thunderstorms. Some of those thunderstorms, they will put out severe watches for thunderstorms or warnings when something's coming your way. So it's one of those, you need to know this kind of stuff. What
Absolutely. I've got something for you. A new text scam. Impersonating the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles. And it's hit North Carolina now.
Oh, God. Just don't pay any fines over the phone.
Officials want you to know that the scammers threaten their victims with a license suspension, registration revocation, or further legal action. They added that any messages of this kind should be reported to the authorities. So if you get one of those, report. In one example of the scam text shared by the Columbus County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina, the message is clearly designed to create a sense of panic in the receiver, asking them to pay immediately before enforcement and threaten them with license suspension and further legal disputes. So, first of all, DMV does not text you.
Don't do like I do.
Like bring it on?
Well, not exactly. I'm sorry. I don't have a credit card and I don't have email. I don't have any way to pay you. I don't have a driver's license and I can't, my car's in the shop.
This is a text.
I know. Well,
yes.
They may be calling you too. There are some callers. But when they do call you and they do this and you answer your phone and just tell them to, I've got cash in a house. How much would you like? Just come on by. I don't want to lose my license. Come on by, get the money.
Right.
And then let them come on by. You know who's going to be waiting for them?
Oh, yeah.
Well, my house, I'm not going to call anybody else.
There's several
call
things
after the fact.
besides the
But
BB with.
you can call your local lawman and tell them,
Yes.
hey, the man's en route to come over here. Please drive an unmarked car and park in next door.
Well, in these texts, there's a link that they want you to click on,
Oh,
which
yeah.
takes you to a fake website
Then you're
that
done.
actually mimics the official government page, which clone AI, whatever. And then it prompts you to make a payment directly through that link.
Some of those people, those websites,
Don't
they
do
can't
it.
even spell DMV. They misspelled DMV. Yes, your first clue. Okay. Look at some of those things carefully. And if it's got an email address that includes Gmail, if it doesn't have something about a .gov in it somewhere, no.
Right. Or like you go look at the return address, and it may
That's what
have
I'm saying.
where DMV, I don't know what their website is, I could look it up, but DMVNC.gov.
Yep.
And this one will say DM_V, and maybe not the North Carolina dot
And it won't
gov,
have
you
gov
know,
on it.
yeah.
It won't
I mean,
have Gov.
It will not
Might
be
have net. Might have org.
net or Oregon. Let me just look up DMV right now and see what their
There's-
website is.
yeah.
But you got it's everywhere. It's just so much of it. Okay, DMV's is, well, here you go. https://www.ncdot.gov.
Uh-huh.
So it is not dmv.gov. It's ncdot.gov. And you have to be careful too, because you ever go to a web search and you'll put in like
Oh, God, yes.
and the first one that pops up, it'll say driver's license, North Carolina.
Yeah.
But if you look at the web address, it's not the right one. Because what happens when you create a website, they're more or less listed alphabetically on Google or any type of search that you do.
Honestly, they're listed about how much you pay Google to put it on that
Well,
website.
that's the way
That's
they
my
do it.
opinion.
That's the way they do it. Is it's listed by like if you go down, like right under the Department of Transportation, the next one is NCDMV Online Appointment Scheduler. But if you look at it, it says skiptheline.gov. Now that may be okay, but I would just be careful when you look at these things. Here's one, DMVoffice.net.
Going to text you anything.
No, just
It'll come
remember
by
that.
first class mail.
Right.
Okay. Duh.
Yeah, they're going through that. I don't really see any.
Remember, we used to get more junk mail than we got real mail. Now we get real mail, and the junk mail comes via text
Wow,
and emails.
it's just causing
and
the death
stuff.
of the post office.
Hey, Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs, she's running for re-election. She called a bunch of crap yesterday after vetoing a bill aimed at preventing China from buying up land next to strategic assets such as military bases. She says it's okay for China. I like to eat Chinese food, and I got a China setting that you wouldn't believe. So China's okay. So why not let them come over here? Maybe we can get some of the stuff that they will produce a little bit cheaper if they set up a factory right next to our Marine base. What you think? They could locate a big old factory down there in Hubert. So why not let them buy up some of the land near Camp Lejeune? Huh? Let's let them do that. It'd be okay. That's what she says.
Yeah. Well, well, I've got a PS.
She probably was out there supporting the balloon when it went over her house.
Probably was
Hey, how y'all?
made from
How
her
do you speak how
petticoats.
y'all in Chinese?
I've got a
Jesus.
PSA for you that just came in from the city of Jacksonville. City of
How do you know it's
Jacksonville,
from the city of Jacksonville?
because I get these all the time.
Oh.
City of Jacksonville utilities maintenance crews will be smoke testing along a portion of Western
They shouldn't
Boulevard
be smoking.
and the Bryn Mawr area to identify possible leaks in the system that could allow groundwater or stormwater into the city's wastewater
So in
lines.
other words, if you see some smoke coming out of somewhere that is not supposed to be coming out of,
they're going to be using a non-toxic water vapor
there's no such thing.
to test. I've learned about the water vapor.
It's
on
going
my
through the
studies.
sewers and the stormwater drains with all the crap that's in there, and it's going to come out non-toxic.
Listen, Mr. Negative. Crews will be using non-toxic water vapor to test the sewer system along a portion of Western Boulevard in the Bryn Mawr area on Wednesday, which is today, and Thursday,
Mhm.
between the hours of 8 a.m.
Uh-huh.
through 3 p.m. It will be normal to
Sure.
see vapor coming from vent stacks and manholes.
Then how are you going to know
If
if
it
it's
comes
good or
out of
bad?
the sewer clean, it could mean the cap is what? If it comes out of sewer clean out, it could mean the cap is missing or broken. It will not be normal for smoke coming into your home or business. If you see smoke in your home or business, you likely
Call the
need to
fire
call
department.
a plumber. For more questions or to report smoke in your home within this area, call the public service line 910-938-5249. Wow. Everything was good till I got to the bottom paragraph.
Now
I'm
you don't
like,
know what to do, do you?
No, if you get smoke in your home.
Call the fire department if it's real smoke in there.
Rayford, I wanted to bring up a really sad story. I don't know if you've been following the story of the 3 missing sisters in the state of Washington.
I saw something
And
about it a week or so ago.
if anybody's listening right now and they have children with them listening, you might want to
Yeah.
mute this, please,
Yeah.
because it is just a sad story. But they were searching for, and they still are searching for the father, Travis C. Decker, after the bodies of his 3 children were found near his abandoned vehicle on Monday.
Mhm.
And new documents have clarified the case of death of the children. The discovery followed a report from Decker's ex-wife, who alerted the Wenatchee Police Department when Travis failed to return their children as per a court-ordered parenting plan. And she
always
reported
bad.
her concerns to the police department, noting that Decker's recent mental health issues and lack of stable housing, she felt like attributed to them not coming back. A warrant for Decker's arrest was issued yesterday after he failed to return the children at multiple scheduled times. And they used
How did they
various
die?
zip ties and plastic bags. They were suffocated. Ages of 5, 8, and 9.
You know
And
how slow that is?
there is a picture of them on here. I'm going to choke up, I know. Beautiful children,
Do you know how
3
slow
little
that
girls.
death is? How traumatic that death is? How did you do that?
But if it's obvious that you have mental illnesses and there's
First of all, that should have been that order should have been changed. That will be in home. You can be at a park with supervision. If you got a mental illness involved, most judges are going to be supportive.
Yes.
And for all of you parents, male or female, mama or daddy, if you're going through a custody battle, daddies, if you know that the wife, the mother of the children, she's a nutcase, or you suspect you've got evidence of whatever, then it would behoove you to take that back to the judge and explain to the judge what's going on and see if you can't amend any visitation rights that the mama has. It's hard to keep them away, but there are circumstances that can be gotten, you can do, that she has to abide by.
Ooh.
Mamas, same thing for the old man. If he's a jerk, you know what I'm talking about. Gather the evidence, get it before a judge, and say, this has got to be changed, and this is why.
Well, one thing that really, really bothers me
Supervise
is the
visitation.
fact that he had no actual living residence. He was living out of his vehicle. Why was he allowed to take the children? Why?
Because nobody stopped him.
Of course, we don't know the full story,
Nobody stopped him.
but I'm
Where
just
is he?
like, these 3 beautiful young ladies, these little children, and by their own father.
If he had a mental condition, a mental issue, they're going to find him dead. Okay? You understand
Yes,
that, right? Now what? Now,
Right.
a man, no. That's just, no.
I mean, this is all speculative, but it's pretty obvious, he had them failed to return them. They find their bodies near his vehicle. He's gone, and they had been suffocated. So, writing's on the wall. I just can't understand the evilness in some people. I just don't get it. Just do not get
You
it.
need to live around them from time to time.
Mhm.
There was a ship, Navy had a ship named, it was named the Harvey Milk. after a man from San Francisco, a gay rights activist.
Okay.
That's who it was named after. The USNS Harvey Milk. M-I-L-K. Yeah, it was. Well, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says that's all changing. They're going to strip that name from that vessel. I hope they know how to unname a boat. If they don't, they need to refer. There's a special process to unname a boat. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
And to rename it. And to
Oh.
rename it. There's a special process you have to go through. If you don't, that ship is going to be in for some bad times.
Maybe
Anyway.
rub the old name off with the banana.
No bananas involved. Military Times first reported on a memorandum issued by the Office of the Secretary of the Navy rolling out plans to rename the oiler something else. Let's see if it's got a name, what it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't care what it's going to be named. But anyway, they're going to do that, and they're tired of some of the. Why do they do that? What did the person do besides he was a gay rights activist?
Well, okay.
How does that warrant naming a warship after him?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. They named the warship after him because
he was a gay rights activist.
Was that like a DEI thing?
I don't know.
Like, oh, we need some ships out there that are named after someone who is an activist.
Renamings of any vessels will be announced after internal reviews are completed. That's what they said.
Right.
So they're going to go through this. It was named the Milk in 2016 during the Obama administration. The ship right at the end of the Obama administration. It completed its maiden voyage in 2024, arriving in San Francisco with much fanfare. I bet it did.
Right.
Pink pom-poms and all.
Yeah.
Okay, we've had enough. I've done enough damage.
I have some more stories, but they're not good. So we'll save them. We'll just do maybe one every now and then. We need to talk good stuff and pleasant stuff and positive stuff. But I'll tell you, there's some crazy stories out there.
Bucky's.
We will see. There's a beaver war. A war of the beavers. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You haven't listened to CB radio in a long time, have you? Let's see you tomorrow morning beginning at 7:00, hopefully. And tomorrow we have Chris Miller joining us.
Yes, we have Chris Miller. May have
he's a year older now than he was last week.
Yes, getting to be an old man.
I tell you what, you need to just get your cane and your crutches and some of that Vicks Vapor Rub.
I kind of noticed he was slowing down out there taking notes at the games.
The Bengay, the Bengay. You need a bunch of Bengay.
Yeah, kind of limping a little bit, kind of slowed down.
So for his birthday was yesterday. So for you folks who haven't gotten Chris a birthday gift yet, get him a package of Bengay to rub on all those, limbs and stuff that are running up and down the ball fields.
Yes.
We'll see you in the morning.
We will.
Meantime, you're live. Be safe out there. You're live in local Real Talk, where we're always awake, never woke. Bye.